we are a grandmaster, it's only up from here. Bigger quests with bigger rewards and bigger threats to clear. 24 full years of questing to make our deaths, we're doing fine. RuneScape 3 Hardcore Ultimate Ironman, questing through 2009. Welcome back to October 20th, 2009. We're doing some fire making. Specifically, I can't light a fire here, really. Disagree with that. It's right next to the beacon. That's a perfect place for a fire. There's level 80 fire making from a regular log. It has magic pyre logs, barbarian yew logs, and later ant gallow branches. Milestone, achievement, unlock. Wow. We're lighting the beacons. All 10 that we can. Light that beacon. It starts to burn. We have prepared logs in all the beacons. So we can just run the beacons. There's also options for like teleporting to some of them, various methods. We only need to do 10. We've loaded them mostly up with yew logs, so they will last a good amount of time. So we're just gonna run. We've also got the benefit of the saltwater pool for infinite run for the next 6 minutes. So that's also nice. Did bring another load of oak logs here, in case I forgot to put logs in one of them. Just need another oak log along the way here somewhere. Should be fine. Let's have this fence here. We're just gonna go through the fence. It's gonna be great. Here's an oak tree. Wow. Right up past the sawmill, which doesn't exist. And that woodcutting training method at the sawmill, that also doesn't exist. Anyways, we wouldn't use that anyways. We chop logs to get logs for things. We just need to get 10, which is all of the beacons we can light, lit at the same time here. And that's the third one. And then we just keep running this way, basically. We do have some different locations to teleport and run to, just to get it all in a good loop here. You can also give an extra 5 logs to the fire makers or whatever. They can top off the fire for you when it almost goes out. That's also something. Also getting some XP for just lighting these fires, which is also nice. A lot less than just regularly lighting the fires, but you know, if you have just a pile of fires, pile extra logs you want to get rid of real quickly, I guess. We of course don't have that. That's alright. This is the 5th one or something. Close enough. Run through the wilderness for these ones, because they're in the wilderness. Very safe, very cool. Avoid the roaming revenants, I suppose. Anyways. Next one is right here in Edgeville. Enjoying the infinite run here. We got nearly infinite run, but also combined with the fact that we are hauling these logs around, it definitely goes a little bit slower. And that was the message that we could go get the Ring of Fire. But we are going all the way here. Well, further the way here. Going for the next one. Just gonna go talk to the king when we're done here. That'll be good. Would also love to keep the full run the entire time here. Surprised it was as short as it was. I thought there was a longer time on that. Just kind of random or something, how much extra run you get. Not quite as long. There's later changes with that, but again, most of the time, not something really worried about. Light this beacon. That's number 7, something. We just light all the ones we can. Here we're going to make use of the slightly different changes here. The wilderness can get down from here, around and around and around. There is a way. There's a beacon right here, but it's awkward to get to from this angle, so we're going to save that one for later. And just run out into the wilderness. As you do. Enjoying all the blue dragons that are totally here. Random monsters thrown around in the wilderness. Good stuff. Dangerous. Dangerous up north, though. Anyways. Right up here. This is as far north as we have to go, which is nice. Because the last beacons up at the very top are going to be problematic, to say the least. Climb the ladder. And like this. There you go. And then head back around for the other two. Take the Falador portal in our house. Get over to Falador. This is definitely the points where, if we were really pressed for time, we definitely could get better options here. Need to go to the Goblin Village. We can go get a Goblin Village teleport sphere. That would be much quicker than running from Falador, that's for sure. Something we might do when we have 92 and we're going for the Inferno ads or something. Not right now. This is fine. And the beacon, annoyingly, have to go through Goblin Village to get to it. So it's a bit of a process. But we can do it. The last few beacons here, I loaded up with lower level logs, since they don't need to last quite as long. Which makes sense. There you go. Was a bit of a hassle carting 20 logs from the trees to the beacons, but we managed. We've had worse situations trying to move things to places. And we're gonna have worse in the future too. 20 inventory spaces free. Pretty good. Can't complain. And now, you get to the last beacon over in Burthorpe. Another situation where we could totally have went and made a games necklace, teleport to the games room, would be faster. Or even just have our house in Taverley would also be closer. Not a huge deal. Let us just get up here, light the beacon, and we should be good. It has definitely not been like 10-15 minutes or anything, because our timer here is not even run out yet, so that's nice. We already fixed all the climbing pegs and all the other things with the beacons earlier, so we can definitely get to the places. Well, that works out nicely. Light the beacon. Congratulations, you've got 10 beacons alight simultaneously. Why don't you go talk to King Roland and Barak? There's a special reward for you. Yay. Got some logs here? Yep. We're gonna get 2 things. We're gonna light 2 logs to get 2 things. It's gonna be great. Oak logs. Definitely something. Okay. Barak teleported here. Also really low on runes. So we could technically drop a bunch of those to have more space for fire making. Maybe something. We're not gonna be teleporting around too much, so in theory could work. More time spent just chilling. And the king is outside of his room here. Talk about the beacons. I was wondering if you could tell me more about the beacons. Of course, what would you like to know? I'm here to claim my reward. For keeping 6 beacons alight simultaneously, I present you with a ring of fire. Thank you very much. Keeping 10 beacons alight simultaneously, I present you with the flame gloves. Thank you very much. Thank you again, Hardcore Ultimate Ironman Artic. Miss Lynn is truly in your debt. Is there anything else you'd like to ask? Nope. Also not gonna ask about this, that's fine. Flame gloves. Ring of fire. In total, plus 5% fire making XP, which is pretty good. Let's get over to where we're going to be doing our fire making. We still have the adamant hatchet, so obviously not the best, but with woodcutting changes and 96 woodcutting, we can definitely manage, that's for sure. So what we're gonna do for our woodcutting and fire making XP, maple trees, right here behind Sears Bank. Very solid. Woodcutting experience with the outfit on. we're gonna get 105 XP. Fire making XP with the outfit on. It is 141. That's pretty good. By comparison, the oak logs would only be 63. That's definitely quite a bit less. Yeah. We're just going to burn the Sears Bank down, essentially. That'll work. Unfortunately, in the future, if we want to do more fire making, we will have to do the beacons again, because we can't reclaim the items from King Rolled until later. That'll be alright. Don't really have too many future plans for more fire making. So this is pretty much going to be it for now. Get a few levels here. Should be good. While training fire making, we're also getting wood cutting XP, obviously. So here is 97 wood cutting. Wow. Well, that is later gorged ancient effigies. I think soon here, probably. Not that we're gonna get many. Anyways. That is now 1.1 million XP to the next level. My goodness. Just a little bit higher level than the fire making. 97, 80. Close enough. Got a magic seed from a bird nest. So that's pretty good. Need to go make a stranger plant to boost 1, or technically 3 farming levels in order to actually be able to do anything with this. We're going to check our magic tree we have here in Falador and put another one in. That is a solid 13,000 XP, so can't complain about that. Going to pay to remove the tree, boost with the stranger plant, so we can plant the next one. Would love to have this live. That's a lot of farming XP. Super compost. Living the dream. If I went around to all the different farming patches where I have a bunch of trees already planted, might be able to get to 75, so I don't need to boost again, but that would require going around to all the farming patches. And I would rather go light more fires. 81 fire making. That is nothing. This fire making training is turning into farming training. Got another magic seed. And so I went around to all my trees and checked their health, which was just enough here to get 75 farming. So I don't need to go and make another stranger plant. Also, more XP for harvesting the fruits too. That's nice. Yeah, 75 farming. That is magic trees. And later, harmony moss and luminous snagglers. Magic tree, definitely the most important, since it exists. 82 fire making. Well, that is a quest requirement, and later, drying cuticles. 83 fire making. That is the next beacon, which doesn't do anything for us, since we already have enough beacons for the glove and rings here. And also later, curly roots. 84 fire making. That is nothing. And lastly, with this log right here, there is 85 fire making. Couple things for that. We get, well, one thing for that. Magic pyre ships. Okay. With 85 crafting, which we don't have. So we don't actually get that. Unfortunate. I'm just gonna stand in this fire here. It's always a fun time. While we burn through a whole pile of updates. On October 21st, 2009, website maintenance, working on getting faster logins on the website, which is always helpful. On October 22nd, 2009, web page security, extended validation SSL certificates, updated internal address bookmarks. So if you had different pages, you need to change them to the new actual website address. But they're all still there. At certain points, parts of the website are removed, but not this time. On October 23rd, 2009, Postbag from the Hedge and Player Gallery blog. They get hundreds of postbag submissions for a variety of NPCs, hints at future content. They have to go through plagiarism and theft checks on the art, unfortunately. That has happened. That has happened before. And the same team that works on the postbag and gallery also has been working on the knowledge base for the past few months. So they've been a bit busy with that. So I haven't had as many of those. Had a whole backlog of edits for the knowledge base. Eventually, that's all taken care of by the wikis, but again, not yet. We're getting there. On October 26th, 2009, patch notes. Goat leg movements have been fixed. More sounds for dropping items on the ground. You can fill water skins from more different kinds of water sources. And there's now more thread, gnome clothes, rogue trader items, caramblons, and jewelry in the now personalized shops. It's a constant stream of new things being more available, or at some points less available. Shops. Whole problem. Another problem over in the PvP worlds, doing some anti-76K'ing measures, where people cheese the system to get more drops. You're going to get fewer drops from kill trading, but still the same total drops. You just need to fight other people, instead of just completely gaming the system. Maybe now you need 3 people to kill trade between each other. PvP. What a mess. In other news, members' items are now stored in members' items slots in the bank. So if you lose membership for a while and stuck in free-to-play, you can actually keep playing the game. Store your free-to-play items in the free-to-play bank slots. And also the bank automatically resizes to fit the screen better, since we're getting bigger screens at this point. Zahur in Narda has been moved east of the bank and can decant potions into 3 doses. We'd be more interested in decanting potions into 4 doses, and exactly how that's all going to work in the future. Potions. Definitely something that we want to be interested in. Over here in Ardoin, 2 tasks in the diary have been switched around. Medium to hard or something. We did all of them though, so it all counts. You can also auto-harvest during farming mushrooms, berries, and fruit. And over at the Grand Exchange, withdraw single items as either items or notes. For the actual update, we have the Halloween 2009 event, Web of Shadows. Enter a black portal south of Falador. Be very aware that a lot of things in here can kill you, very much in quotes. They just one-hit you and send you back to the entrance. The Grim Reaper wants you to remove a spider from his bathtub, but the spider is the size of a bathtub and won't leave until the Spider Queen tells them to. So Grim makes a portal to the Spider Realm. You have to cross an unstable web, complete an agility course, talk to the Spider Herald, to get to the Spider Queen. And she is mad that the Grim Reaper sweeped up all the webs in his house right before Halloween. Not acceptable for spiders. So you team up with Eek the Spider to re-web 64 items in Grim's house. Also, you need to make sure to entertain Muncher, the skeletal hellhound, or he will kill you. especially if you try to blow a raspberry at him. Doesn't appreciate that. And as a reward, you get a few different things. Just look at it right here, momentarily. We got a system. And there is the web cloak, very spider themed. And even more spider themed is an entire spider. You get Eek, who helped you during the event. You can talk to the spider. The spider does a little emote running around. And you can even make a web. You also get all the previous Halloween emotes, if you didn't already have them. So that's fun. On October 27th, 2009, Core Game Systems hosting moving. The game and website logins won't be available for a quarter of players. It's interesting how it's always like a quarter of players. Definitely a system out here. On October 28th, 2009, Impetuous Impulses Rework blog, looking to give it more experience for hunting implings, but that also obviously requires balancing to try to not make it be the new meta training, while also releasing some new implings. So that could be something. We've had to deal with all those new implings just being completely in the way all the times we've gone to Puro. So maybe we could get some extra loot. I don't know. On October 29th, 2009, website maintenance. Adding membership credit and canceling existing subscriptions will not work. And unfortunate that you can't add your membership credit right now, because you can go get your membership prepaid cards in Sainsbury's throughout the UK. On October 30th, 2009, systems moving warning. Most systems at various points throughout November 2nd. And also, the Golden Joysticks Award win. They won. Fantastic. On November 2nd, 2009, potential downtime. Also, there was from a bug in a driver in the new hosting facility. Need to restart all the servers. Should be getting most of the things updated today. Bit of a mess. And a community management events support blog. Talking about the events forum. Highlighting events, emergent gameplay, and events moved to a new creative gameplay forum, specifically. Two different kinds of events. Emergent gameplay and just actual in-game stuff. November 3rd, 2009. Golden Joysticks Awards, a thank you message. 1.2 million people voted. And crashed the website 4 times. There were so many people. Wild stuff. On November 4th, 2009, website maintenance. Adding membership, not available for while they're fixing it. On November 5th, 2009, Distractions and Diversions, Court Cases blog. Going to be expanding on the trial system from King's Ransom. Many different characters going on trial. Later. On November 6th, 2009, membership cards available in GameStop in the USA. Lots of different places to get these game cards. On November 9th, 2009, patch notes. Small graphical updates to Lumber Swamp Caves, Living Rock Caverns, and various water. And pirates. Added more variety to cooking sounds. Rewrote some of the logic and monkey madness, which is definitely a bold thing to do. That quest is a giant mess. Penguins now have penguin chat heads instead of cat chat heads. Improved the rat pits code. Also a giant mess. Followers allowed on magic carpets, canoes, and balloons. More shop stocks for pots of flour, dyes, and gloves. And an agility shortcut across the river in Shiloh Village, requiring level 74 agility. In other news, 2 1,000 total level worlds, which is not very high in terms of total level worlds that come later. Just starting the idea. Get away from the noobiest of noobs, I suppose. And one of the things we are most interested in here, new item packs. Previously, we had the Spirit Shard item packs, but now there's new ones. Most importantly, vials of water, and regular vials, I guess, but vials of water more so. So then with that, we can just have a pile of vials of water. You unpack them and they're noted. So that'll just be very much more convenient than having to empty and fill up every single vial for future herblore training. If we do more future herblore training. But yeah, much better. Also, Eyes of Newt. So we can just make so many super attacks. It's just fantastic. Also, raw bird meat. So we can more effectively make use of gold charms, making spirit terror birds for summoning XP. And empty baskets. Unfortunately, does not include any feather packs. That's later. There's also a few other packs that are also a bit later. But still, herblore mostly solved at this point. Click delay removed in Castle Wars. Something was stalling you too much. That's no good. There's now a looking at the world map animation. I'll show here. Open the world map. Nope, that's the wrong thing. Open the world map. Guess it's gone. Used to hold a map. If we didn't have the spider on. World map. Nope. Never know what might be removed. Anyways. Consistency with numbers in parentheses. Having a space before the parentheses. Prayer altar in Faldor Castle. Confirmation for casting High Alch on items worth more than 500,000 coins. Spell queuing for Superheat, enchantment spells, and Plink Make. Right click to get a Slayer task. Right click to check Slayer tasks on the enchanted gem. A Smash Gargoyle right click option. More Tokel from Czar as drops. Double Tokel from the Fight Caves. And the auto-dialing fairy rings that we've been using. Over in Falador, new hairstyles. Dragon variant, mohawk shaved, mullet, asymmetric fringe, half up, half down, headband, and page boy. And over at the Champions Guild, more Champions Challenges. Got the Leprechaun for everybody, but it requires you to have no items equipped or in your inventory, so I'm not going to be doing that right now. And also new scrolls from the Banshees, Emerald Spectres, Mummies, to get more 1 in 5,000 drops. Finish all available champions to fight the Gnome Champion. The new end of that system. And go get your Imp Follower banner. Follows you around with a banner showing you which champions you've killed. So that's fun. On November 11th, 2009, send your computer system specs by visiting this link on the RuneScape webpage. It's helpful for making sure that future projects will work for most people. And also, RuneScape Classic reopened. 2 weeks to sign up, members only. You can skip the tutorial if you want. Enjoy. November 13th, 2009. Membership cards in W.H. Smith stores in the UK. And a blog going over Excel's visit to Jagex for winning the Machinima contest. Got a tour, meeting with the teams, sneak peeks, interview with the CEO, looking at all bunch of stuff around Cambridge. It even had a whole in-game event for everybody to come join and have fun. events and such. On November 17th, 2009, patch notes. Ava's arm will no longer bend the wrong way. No more floating blood. A graphical update of rocks in the desert and north of Yanil. And fix the Lumbridge water wheel. Not for the last time, that one. Not for the last time. In other news, run mode setting now saved between logins. Ava's device will function in Castle Wars by showing it to Lanthus, and also has a new stop receiving junk option. We don't really use the Ava's devices because the crystal bow doesn't have arrows, but yeah, that's fine. The Pharaoh Scepter charges will be displayed in the name. The summoning skill cape boost option added to work as other skill capes or boost you by a level. Cannons won't fire a cannonball at dying NPCs, wasting them. You can also top off the cannon while it's still firing. Bones to bananas and peaches. Now work on all bones up to big bones. But a much more important update here. High level potions. They weren't available in safe PvP minigames before, but now they are. We got Extreme Magics now give a +7 boost. Regular magic potions give +5. But then having boosted magic gives +3% magic damage per boosted level. And that's really about the magic system here. Because there's new surge spells. Starting at level 81, going up to 95. Using a blood rune, a death rune, air runes, and elemental runes. Which is not the case, EOC, etc. Max hit would be like 280, equivalent for our stance here. With Extreme Potion and Staff that boosts your damage, goes up to 370. That's something. There's also chance of multiple runes while rune crafting. Previously required you to get the next milestone level, and now it scales as you approach that level. So you get 1 times runes, 1.1 times, 1.2 times, etc., etc. That'll help with when we do some rune crafting here. Whatever we decide to do. Unless it's Arania, they probably won't. Anyways. But yeah. High level potions, high level spells. We could use the high level potions in safe PvP minigames if we were going to do any of those and we had any of the potions. And we can now technically cast Air Surge, but we wouldn't because we don't even have a good enough staff. We would still be just using Air Blast, just to save a couple air runes. And we're going to be doing some magic in a bit here, but not just yet. On November 18th, 2009, reminder that the window to get access to RuneScape Classic is only open for another week here. And the Adventurer's Log, a webpage that shows you all your stats, quest progress, recent events, like high-level NPCs killed, expensive drops, PvP kills, level ups. And also has time played. You can set it all to public, friends only, or private, and uses your picture from the photo booth. All kinds of information. On November 19th, 2009, Elite Achievement Diaries blog, making it a goal for high-level players, working on all the other Elite Diaries, and only hard for Lumbridge, since it has beginner, easy, medium currently. Trying to make the tasks themselves easy, avoiding random chances and bottlenecks, while having very high requirements. As for the rewards, that is more difficult part of it. Has to make sure the rewards are worth it, like with XP lamps, but not too much. Would not be overpowered for getting the rewards, even though they have high requirements. Submit ideas for what you want the rewards to be on the forums, which is not great because currently the forums are offline due to technical issues. Yeah, more Elite Achievement Diaries to come. You get decent stats, but there are some definite problems on that list. We'll worry about that later. On November 25th, 2009, the plan for RuneScape Classic will be opening every 6 months for new signups and having 2 worlds. One veteran world and one that everybody that signed up during these sign-up times can access. Along with the veterans, of course. It's going to stay members only, and they're not going to be doing any of those player-owned servers with weird mechanics or anything. It's hard enough to just keep it running here for a while. On November 26th, 2009, Fairy Tale 3 blog. It's going to have military themes, multi-enemy boss fight, looking for feedback, coming up with a subtitle for it like the other Fairy Tale quests. Lots of things coming. There's also the Cryptic Clue Fest. Daily puzzles to solve, in-game, for a sleuth emote and the magnifying glass. And here it is. Magnifying glass with the sleuth emote. Technically not out, because you need to actually finish the Clue Fest with the daily puzzles and everything, but this is it. We're looking for it. Another event also, with the Thanksgiving event. Help the Lumbridge cook's brother defeat the turkey army by using the fabled gravy of turkey slaying. And you'll receive the Give Thanks emote if you didn't unlock it previously. Wild stuff. Wild stuff out here. Over in Funorm, we got the Zamorak single-player campaign for Armies of Gillinor. And after going through all of November, it's finally time for a thing that we can actually do. On December 3rd, 2009, a few other things first. Christmas card competition. Submit a RuneScape themed picture as a less than 5 megabyte JPEG by the 18th. In the patch notes, snakes now hiss. POH bookcases sorted alphabetically. A warning message that the Seer's headband won't work in the haunted mine, and a new holding position for the rat pole. In other news, we got CPU usage settings, more dragon daggers in shops, recharge cost of most items from the Fist of Gothics, besides the gloves, have been reduced. Get a cannon decay warning animation, and the Cryptic Clue Fest to be removed soon, since it's been a week. So, get your rewards if you want to. But finally, an update to actually go do something. The next quest. It is Temple at Sentencedon. The Temple at Sentencedon. Requires Devious Mines, Desert Treasure, the Curse of Arav, 125 kudos, 50 prayer, and some items. Telekinetic grab runes. Go grab those. Also, an anti-dragon shield, spade, and a hammer would be good. Probably a slashing weapon. And some food. Starting over in Narda. Ellie the Wise. How's it going? I'm under an awning. Eh. How goes the research? Well, all of our research seems to point to the fact that there are 2 factions of Majrat. There are those who are loyal to an ancient and almost forgotten god called Zeros, and those who are loyal to Zamorak. What is your perception? Do you treat these 2 factions differently? Where do you stand on these matters? I'm not sure. Is the other option directly there? About the Majrat. We have more information. We know so far. I'm kind of go now. I need to talk to the first set here. Do I have any more information? I don't know if I have more information. Good, good. I'm always happy to compile more information on these creatures. They're of great interest to me. Nothing else particularly springs to mind. Yeah. How goes the research? We got the two factions. What's your perception? Do you treat these two factions differently? Where do you stand on these matters? I certainly don't like those Zamorak faction. The actions of the Zamorak faction don't really worry me. Those are something I much care about, just fight. So it sounds like a worthy deed to me. I'm a true follower of Zamorak. Got a whole range of options here. Well, I certainly don't like those of the Zamorakian faction. It's been quite a mess. They do seem to follow a self-proclaimed god of chaos. Zamorakian Majra, such as Lucian and Zamorgul, clearly pose a significant threat to human civilization. What are the Majrat who follow Zeros? Seems to be an honorable god, unpleasant too. I just really don't have enough information to know yet. Yes, the Majrat who follow Zeros are a bit more of an enigma. Nothing we've discovered proves that they are followers of Zeros or out to cause evil. Either way, a group that is loyal to a vanished and forgotten god hardly seems a major threat. It's hard to know if untoward things that one might hear about Zeros are deserved or not. If one thing is for sure, it's the followers of Zamorak are the ones causing grave problems in the world today. Indeed. Excellent. Oh, actually, when I think about it, there is something that may be of interest to you. I've just been up to Verak dig site. I ran into an old contact of mine, Dr. Nabidik. When I mentioned that I was working with someone called Hardcore Ultimate Ironman, Artic, he seemed to have heard of you. He asked if you could head over to the Verak dig site exam center, as he has some work for you. Dr. Nabidik. The name doesn't ring any bells. I have to say, I suppose I could head over and see what he wants. Alright. Could you give me the Verak dig site? Exam center? I do have one item that may be use of you. We'll take you to the Verak dig site exam center here. Gives you a dig site pendant. Thanks. This original? I don't know. Gets us to the Verak dig site exam center. Hasn't been too many updates to most quests at this point. That's alright. Also, it doesn't even take us to the exam center. It takes us up here to the archaeology part. Stop trying to make me go do archaeology and necromancy. It's not going to happen. The arrows so very much want us to, though. It's pretty funny. We also need to get some more inventory space for later things. We have to destroy the flame gloves and flame ring. It says we can reclaim them by talking to King Rold, but that's not a thing yet. So we're going to have to do the beacons again when we actually want to do that. Anyways, here is Dr. Nabinik. Dr. Nabinik, I presume. Oh, that's cool stuff. Yes, yes, old friend. I've changed a bit since we last met in that pyramid, so I understand your surprise. The doctor's voice certainly seems familiar. Quick realize that he's speaking softly. Why are we speaking so quietly? I don't want to attract undue attention. Hehe. Last time we met, I was in a form that might frighten these peasants. I'll give you a hint. How are those ancient magics working for you? That's Nadra. You're quite the master of disguise. I suppose you'll want to know what's going on here and why Ali has sent you to me. So where do you want me to start? Why are you here, away from the pyramid? Although I was unaware of time passing, it seems I was there for rather longer than you have lived. A change of scene seemed in order. Though I did have a visitor after you left, some fool who thought to come and gloat at my predicament. The look on his face made it all worthwhile while it lasted. While his face lasted, that is. I see. But what is so special about here? The one I adore was torn from me and is resting beyond the veil of life. I simply wish for us to be reunited, and the altar here will allow for that. You could call it a tale of simple devotion over the ages, or an old fool's dream. What's Ali's part in this? Oh, we met while he was researching Verak dig site and he mentioned your name. With you being involved in both our lives, it seems that maybe you are fated to help us. Why all the secrecy? That's quite the question after you've seen me in my true form. My folk have something of a deservedly bad reputation, due to the actions of a headstrong minority. I'd rather not use mind control or mass slaughter here. when diplomacy can be just as beneficial to my aims. That's a good point. But where do I fit in? You have the trust of these dabblers. Use your influence and persuade them I am trustworthy. Okay. And just tell me what you want. Wish you'd aid in getting a restoration certificate. Will grant me permission to perform some restorations to the temple beneath these ruins. Those who have authority here do not trust my motives. Need to repair an altar below ground and use it for a while, after which they can display it to passing visitors. Everyone wins. All you need to do is persuade the curators that I have the cash to rebuild the place and the historical knowledge to do it properly. And they should issue a certificate for me. I hope I won't be required to lie. You do have both of those things, right? I'm older than any of your human kingdoms and more powerful than you can imagine. My knowledge could wreck civilizations and my wealth rebuild them in splendor. Be thankful, I'm also fair and merciful. Oh, and don't tell them the awkward details of my background, obviously. Make up something believable. Okay, last thing. Whom should I ask? I was told to contact the archaeological expert, Terry. He's the senior person here. He seems to have the authority, but not the will to aid me. Terry Melendo. Hi there. Almost forgot one of the students discovered an ancient book. Seems right up your street. Does not exist yet. Ancient Codex. I think we can destroy this, and then talk to him again. Destroy this. Claim another from Terry Blando. He's gonna keep giving this to me. Alright. We'll destroy that when we need to. Hello again. I am now studying that mysterious temple and its inhabitants. The markings are strange. Hear about a close friend of mine, Dr. Nabanik. And that's the fellow who wishes to do some restoration work to your find, as I remember. He didn't have any paperwork or accreditation, though. Claims it was eaten by beetles. He also said he lost contact with the references while he was busy in some pyramid, which seems a bit equally feeble of an excuse to me. Certainly can't issue him with a restoration certificate on such flimsy grounds. He was in a pyramid for a very long time, but I can be his reference. Well, as his reference, perhaps you can explain about the beetles eating his documentation? I've seen those beetles, and they are huge. I see. Well, your support does make the story more credible. Suppose I can at least ask you about his credentials. All I require from you is a brief description of his areas of specific study and personal background. For the records, of course. Study his pyramids, particularly the interiors. Ancient magic. Matters so complex they confuse me. Ancient views on immortality. Or fossilized dung. Mostly pyramids. Interiors. I don't think I've seen any of his work published. Has he been doing this long? He was involved in one pyramid for so long, you could say he lived there. Think he was sidetracked with some magical emanations, though? Lost far more time than he would have liked. I can understand that. Magic and science can be a complex combination. It's actually starting to look promising. All I require from you next is a brief description of his personal background, for the records, of course. We got more options here. He's got an aged benefactor, made his fortune selling magical staffs, extraordinarily miserly, links to the desert religions, recently involved in the recovery of desert treasure. Desert treasure. That's what we did. I hope this wasn't through the pillaging of ancient sites. Oh, no. Lost property of no specific historical value. Using it this way is far more likely to further knowledge. Excellent. So many people see archaeology as a way to gain money. It's refreshing to see someone willing to spend money in the cause of research. So does Dr. Nabanik have permission now? Yes, it seems my suspicions about him were incorrect. He'll need a restoration certificate. Here. I hands you a restoration certificate. Thanks. Oh, there you go. Completely believable. Technically not lies. Talk to the powers that be and they say you are allowed to do your restoration. You have the restoration certificate? Yes, I have it right here. Good. I overheard your comments about me as that supposed expert. I think I did pretty well at making you seem like a worthy person to do this restoration. You are better than I expected. Congratulations. Your combination of my background in pyramids and ancient religions was inspired. You distilled down the truth while excluding minor issues that might have disturbed the expert's sensibilities. In any case, I need that certificate you have. You hand Asanadra the restoration certificate. At last my lackeys can start on the restoration work, which is good. Could you meet me down in the temple beneath the dig site so we can discuss the next steps? Use the winch at the northeast of the site to descend. Certainly. I'll see you there. Recall needing a rope to descend. It would be remiss of me not to carry a spare rope in this splendid backpack of mine. Here. I was going to hand you an old but sturdy rope. In theory, this should be a permanent rope at some point here. That's the dream, at least. Okay. To the northeast end of the dig site, which looks nothing like this. Archaeology. It's gonna be a whole thing. It's gonna be a whole thing. Basically, every new skill is just a whole thing. Except for divination. That's like half of a thing. Anyways, operate the winch. Down, use the rope, there we go. Tie the rope to the bucket. Again, lower yourself in the shaft. But now we're in a different area, where they are working on restoring the area. Got some dig site workmans. How's it going? Hello. You're not here to take our tools, are you? Only they seem to go missing all the time. What are you doing here? You do steal workman tools, previously. Helping our hero Asanadra restore this temple to our god. It's good and noble work. Okay. Let's restore this temple. Which also has a side over here with a pile of skeletons. We're not going to worry about that. They moved the skeletons out of this room, put them over there. Brilliant. Asanadra, how's it going? As you have gained the permission we needed, my lackeys can start on the restoration work now, which is good. So what next? It will take some time for them to accomplish this, even under my superb direction. Anything I can do to help? Actually, I could make good use of your services in the interim. Okay. What do I need to do? While the construction continues, I have some rather more dangerous challenges for you. More accurately, it's a pair of challenges. One in Mauritania and the other in the far north. In both cases, I need an object of ancient power. Tell about the mission in Mauritania. You need to get an ancient icon from the Barrows. It absorbs the power of prayer. Imagine, with so many desperate adventurers passing through there, how many prayers have been uttered within those gloom-ridden tombs. After all this time in that foul place, the icon will surely be a powerful artifact of prayer by now. Retrieve it. Okay. Tell me about the mission in Mauritania. What do I need to do? Mauritania? That's the same one again. Barrows. Go to a Barrows run. Do you have any advice for the Barrows? Barrows' brothers are unlikely to yield the icon freely. They've been told to guard it well. It is fascinating how mindlessly they follow Zerosian orders since they became cursed. If only their orders had included returning the icon peaceably when asked, your task would be a lot simpler. To ensure you get the icon, you should defeat every brother before raiding their chest. That way none of them will be able to conceal it. Alright. Talk about something else. Mission in the North. The mission in the North has already bested one of my most loyal contacts. He was sent to retrieve an ancient item, the Frostenhorn, from a snow-buried fortress. To get to the fortress, I believe you can take transport from the west side of the peninsula in the north of the Fremnik province. Not true. What he's talking about is one of the Fremnik boats from the northern polar hunter area over to where we put Jahalin in the ice caverns. But we need to go through the wilderness side, unfortunately. Because that's the only one that actually exists. Snow-buried? That sounds cold. Indeed. And ice can form a barrier so impenetrable that it may as well be iron. The last thing I received from an unfortunate contact was a messenger delivered his ruined backpack to me. Here. Take a look at the contents and tell me what you make of it. Now, carefully hands you a ruined backpack, which is falling to pieces. Open the ruined backpack. Disintegrates. As you open it, inside is a letter and a strange globe. Heat globe. Despite the name, it feels cold. And a letter. I'm ill prepared for this mission. I must abandon my duties or I shall perish. Despair not, for I have found the enclosed artifact. It will help you enter the fortress, where more of these strange globes can be found. Had I been able to draw them to me just a short distance, I could have succeeded. Oh, to come so close, to be yet be held back for want of runes. Your humble servant, J. So he was lacking in runes. Let's discuss your missions, see if I can offer any advice. About the letter from the ruined backpack. I've read the letter from the ruined backpack. And what did you make of what my contact wrote? Okay, he was outwitted. Creatures' areas were too much for him. Ran out of runes. It's pretty easy to do that. Only a fool travels without the runes they need. You can run out of runes. It happens. Well, that's just it. I know that he always carries an abundance of runes for combat. The only explanation is that he needed runes for something other than combat. So basically, the letter says your contact didn't have the runes he needed to reach something, so he had to retreat. Yes, that sounds like an apt summary. Back to the mission in the north. Got the letter, got the heat globe. Any advice for the north? I'm uncertain what perils you'll face, but I did notice that the backpack I gave you was charred. Could there be dragons near the frozen fortress? Perhaps the letter from the backpack holds more information. I read the letter, so you kind of needed to draw nearby heat globes towards him. He also wrote that he didn't have the necessary runes. Certainly something to think about then. I know he was well studied in combat runes, so must have needed something else. Oh, okay, and where can I find the fortress? It's on the northern coast. I believe you can obtain transport from the west side of the peninsula in the north of the Fernic province. Of course, if you want a more dangerous route, you can also enter from the deep of the wilderness. I strongly recommend the safer passage. Thanks. I would strongly recommend the safer passage, if I could. Sad times. Yeah. So yeah. Through the deepest wilderness. I think we should be okay. In theory. High-level additional monsters aren't up on that part of Ice Plateau, I don't think. We'll have to scope it out here. Just to the south, there's like living wyverns and glaciers and all sorts of mess. We should be probably fine. If there's enemies in the way, we will reconsider. We can at least get out into the wilderness here. To the frozen fortress. Gorak. And we got our hatchet for slicing through the web here. Very, very not safe still. Especially in the deep wilderness, you'd be very likely to run into some revenants out here. This is the only way to go. Very potentially dangerous. Possibly less dangerous than when PvP comes back to the wilderness. And also possibly less dangerous than going to certain areas now. Especially areas with Ripper demons, which also aren't a thing yet. Ah, wilderness changes. What a mess. What a mess. So here's Mandrith. We'll be talking to him later. All sorts of stuff. Okay. So we got mammoths. Those are not aggressive, so that's fine. Get through here. We got Hydrix dragons and glaciers just over the fence. They can just stay there. That's perfect. There's the living wyverns. We've run out of run. It's also fine. We're not in any immediate danger. So we can definitely get to this beacon unperturbed. It's just getting down to the next ones that's more of a problem. We'll worry about that later when we have even higher fire making and actually need to go for the Inferno ads and all that. At any rate, here is the globe we can place here to squeeze past an ice block. And in here, we've got iron and steel dragons, which also were aggressive. So an anti-dragon shield would have been very advisable. And we can't really telegrab this heat globe. So we just need to go into the fortress here. Gorak Fortress. Whole new place. Very frozen. Very cool. Lots of ice and such. And a statue of General Khazard. Alright. Making our way around here and around here. Only one way to get through and into here. Everything else is very frozen shut. Let's insert a globe into this pedestal, but we can't because we don't have an extra globe. So instead, get around to this entrance here. Enter the trapdoor. Where we get into here. In here, we've got globes, we got a demon, we got various ice blocks all over the place. Take a globe, and the area cools slightly. You can put it other places and unfreeze things. In general, moving around to different spots, getting more globes, just having a good time. Placing them, summoning in water fiends. They're actually stronger than regular water fiends, which is pretty wild. Fight them a little bit. Should be great. There you go. Not gonna worry about any of their drops. But we could get some crimson charts if we wanted to. Telegram, a heat globe. And that puts the ice block back and moves the loot above it, which is hilarious. Place it here. To unfreeze that. Kill the water fiend. Also getting some range XP. That's also nice. I'll take it. Okay. Now we can go downstairs. Enter this trapdoor. How fun. In here, we can grab another heat globe. It's very helpful. There's a water fiend in that ice block there. Also fun. An ice block here. Place the heat globe here. That melts both of those. One past. Take enough damage that we can use a shark. With an uncharted island map, get rid of that. Take this heat globe. Seems to have part of the pedestal attached to it, which is perfect. That's just what we needed. So I'm gonna leave that water fiend there. He's doing fine. Climb back out of here and up onto where we passed a broken piece that needed a broken piece of heat globe. Right up here. Climbing up, going around. Perfect heat globe on the smashed piece. Fortuitously, the globe fits into the broken pedestal. The heating effect has melted enough ice to create a slippery surface. Let me just push this into the hole. Whee! Broken pillar slides down. Maybe that melted something downstairs. That's the dream. That is the dream. Alright. Back down into Gorak Fortress. Carry on where I was at. Yep. And the water fiends are back. These guys even aggressive. Maybe not. Yep, there they are. Just depends if we are in an awkward spot for them. The heat globe has gone to here. Just melted something, potentially. Probably just run past some of these guys, too. Wouldn't be a bad idea. Anyways, that came down here and melted this path. Then we can go over here. Got a heap globe here. Take that. There's only so many paths and such in here, so that's fine. Area gets colder, but not that much colder. If more walls came up, then would obviously be a problem. Place the globe in this hole and give it a whack. While the hammer fell through the wall, lands right there, which is just the perfect spot. Wild stuff. Wild stuff. When it works, it works. Okay. There's also a whole bunch of other pipes. Place the globe and just rolls through to another spot. Not very helpfully. And then we're up here. We can run over this way and fight this ice demon. Look at this guy. Ice demon! 50% accuracy. Check for magic. He's almost dead. He's dead now. Tadia! The Frostenhorn. Yoink. And now, it's going to go to a Barrows run. The combat is generally a bit easier than it would have been. But we also have 97 range, so that's pretty good. All things considered. We could have worse. We could have worse stats here. Anyways, over to Barrows. We're just gonna take the fairy ring to the Marquee Hideout in the Hollows dungeon spot. Other options also exist, but probably the best one. A classic way of getting to Barrows. If not perhaps the best one. There's the other entrance. There it is. This whole place. Could also just teleport to the house, go into the Canifis portal, I would just ended up there. Also an option. Potentially even quicker. Anyways, out in the swamp, we just jump over this tree, which we set up during In Search of the Myarchy. Run past some gas. Also consider that we hope we have enough food. We can always come back if we don't. Should be fine. Another unfortunate time where prayer does not protect 100%. Not that prayer is a continuing resource you can have at the Barrows. What with the whole prayer draining effect. You know, it's something. It's something here. There's also 4 melee brothers, which is also a little bit against us here with the whole range idea. I'm sure it'll be fine. Brother slain. 0 of 6. Alright. Down in here. Back from melee. Derek in the tunnel. That's not fantastic. Not really what you want. Maybe we can safe spot him. Although a lot of the safe spots have been removed, like the middle of the room bits. Anyways. Accuracy of 62%. Got a decent chunk of health. Things could be worse. Pew-pew. Moving around. Pew-pew. There we go. Achievement. Combat achievements. Defeat a Barrows brother. Something something. Wild. Wild stuff. Okay. Dig down again. Prayer. Torag. Defeat him. We can also try running around a bit if we really wanted to. Technically an option. We're probably fine. Pew pew. Oh no, his special attack thingy. It does drain special attacker, whatever. Around is found in 80 days. 2 out of 6. Combat achievements. Not something we're going for right now. Next up, Varak. We could definitely do better with stronger magic weapons. But we don't have one of those yet. Not yet. There's some drain. E2 prayer is also pretty good. I just threw quite a few of these while being able to actually pray for everything. So that's nice. We don't really need to worry about getting anything extra in the tunnels. 100% accuracy against Aram. That's better. Now we're doing some damage. Almost one-shot him, or three-shot him. Good enough. And the last overground one. Still have to dig with the spade here. It is a Carol fight. 76% accuracy. Could be worse. Okay. If we get through the tunnel quick enough, we might even be able to use some prayer against Darok, which would be fantastic. Or not. Kill him quick enough. It's less of a problem. That's okay. Alright. Now we just need to get through to the middle and claim our icon thingy. Get some fearless. Which door's open? Which door's open? None of them? Okay. Alright. Running through here. Did we kill that worm in one hit? I suppose. There it is. There's the openable door. Now we can see the open on this option. Okay, sure. And here's Darok. Alright. Need to be quite prepared for getting hit here. Ready to eat. Eat twice. Hit. Eat. And finish it. Around the mountain 80 days to beat each of the Barrows brothers without leaving. Yep. And puzzle. Open the door. Could technically get a Barrows item here. That'd be funny. We get the icon and some stuff. So a chance to find the icon, as Anandra asked you to get. Also, we'll get your other rewards. Dropping a that you don't have on the floor. Don't have space for on the floor. Yep. Rub to the dig site. There you go. Fantastic. No, I'm not doing archaeology. Stop asking. Draw all the extra coins we got. I'm gonna sell these chaos runes and bolt racks. Those general store or something, I guess. It's fine. And we need to go the other direction because he's down in the tunnel now. Restoring the altar and all that. Bam. Frost and Horn. Barrow's icon. Doable. Definitely doable. Might need to be doing just an absolute ton of Barrows in the future. It's going to potentially be a whole thing. Exactly when in the future? Another question. At any rate, they've finished up repairing everything here. Looking really nice. Oh, wow. That's not right. How's it going? So how are the missions going? I have everything here for you. Something even. How splendid. Let me see what you have. You give the Barrows icon to Azanadra. Splendid. The Barrows brothers will be furious with you, of course. They've guarded it well and for so long, but you can clearly handle them without concern. A magnificent effort on your part. Hardcore Ultimate Ironman, Artic. Now let me see. Oh my. It's better than I had hoped. I knew that under the protection of the Barrows brothers, the power of this icon would not fade. But it is now much stronger than I recall. A great many adventurers must have uttered their dying prayers in the Barrows, and the Archon has drawn all that holy power in. Wonderful. This shall be an irresistible beacon unto my lord. You give the Frostenhorn to Asanadra. So here it is. The Frostenhorn has proved so troublesome to obtain. So many of my contacts have tried and failed to bring it to me. Yet you, hardcore ultimate Ironman, Artic, have proven yourself skilled beyond any mere adventurer. My eternal thanks. Now let me see. Yes, it shall do the task it was designed to do, as I expected. What does the Frostenhorn do? How can I explain this in human terms? It's like a magnifying glass for power. It was in an icy area up in the north, and so it magnified that, allowing the fortress to remain frozen. I dare say that were you to return to the fortress, you would find it thawing. In any case, I shall need this power of magnification to reach out to my lord. And why is it called the Frostenhorn? That is the human name for it, or rather the Fremenic name. Humans have only ever witnessed its power in frozen lands, so I assume the power it holds is that of ice. However, we Majrat know better. Not only do we know what it does, we know how to harness its power. As the Frostenhorn is the human name for it, what do the Majrat call it? I shall do you a service, hardcore ultimate Ironman Artic, and not tell you. For were your ears to hear its true name, terrible and primeval as it is, they would melt from the side of your head. How much power does a name hold? I pray you never need to find out. How wonderful. Now almost all we need is gathered. Okay. What do I need to obtain next? Fear not. There is no more gathering of items for you. Another of my illustrious contacts has made their way here with the final item. So the final item you need is being delivered by another of your contacts. Do we just wait for them to arrive? No such luck. I want you to go topside and collect the delivery. I can't risk going out, and the contact isn't one I like poking around in here. The contact should be waiting by the winch that leads down here. Sounds simple enough. I'll be back with this item. Simple. Don't need to traverse all over the corners of the world. Just go up a rope. Problem solved. Except, problem created. Because it's the assassin! Well, well, aren't you popping up all over the place? Mask or no mask, I remember you. As well you should. Despite my stealth, I cannot conceal my reputation as a master assassin and a burglar extraordinaire. You're nothing but a common thief. Still bitter about the Entrana relic. You tricked me into helping you, and then you took the relic in broad daylight. I'll take that as a yes, then. Enough of this. Very well, think fast. The assassin tries to carelessly toss you the relic, but you're so agile that you anticipate his move and pluck the relic straight from his fingers. Wow, I wasn't expecting that. Just my agility, huh? Well, it's always good to be on the lookout for potential students. And for potential threats, too. The Entrana relic. From back in Devious Minds. Which, wild. That was a requirement for the quest. Who could have possibly seen that? If you pay attention to the quest requirements, you can really get an idea of what might happen. Or at least what's connected. Anyway. You have the relic. You give Asanadra the relic. What is this? Asanadra runs his fingers down the Ceradoman symbol carved into the relic. Those power-grabbing buffoons. See how they've desecrated this relic? Carving the insidious mark of their idiot god into this venerable stone. They never miss a trick, those Ceradomanists. I can see why you didn't want your contact coming down here. Indeed, I'm sure he is an honorable agent, but why take the risk? The less he knows about the artifacts down here, the less likely he is to be tempted. But I gotta say, your choice in agents leaves something to be desired. He was not my choice, hardcore ultimate Ironman Artic, on account of my all too recent confinement. Indeed, it was one of my Zerosian brothers who commissioned him to retrieve our relic from Entrana. Who would you have chosen for the task? Did the assassin not manage to complete his mission? Seems to me he was the perfect choice for the job. Great seeing the assassin again, just like old times. Perhaps the two of you have much in common. I hope not too much, though, for he is hired as his loyalty, as is his loyalty and allegiance. You may only depend upon such people when you pay them well. To consider them an ally or friend would be a grave error. However, such people do have a knack for getting things done. You did send me to collect a stolen relic. Yes, you're quite right. So you admit it. Of course. I'm happy to admit that the relic was stolen from this very temple long ago. Now, so it's originally yours? This age-battered stone belongs only to Zeros. The assassin deserves our thanks for liberating it from those light-fingered Ceredominists. Our only regret is that we did not recover it before those imbeciles decided to carve Ceredomin's crude mark upon it. When Zeros sees that, well, let's just say, it'd be a good day to be a great distance away from any Ceredominist lands. That's most lands. Anyway, what now? What now indeed? We got 3 artifacts of immense power. It's time for a ritual. Hardcore Ultimate Ironman Artic. How well you have done to congregate these relics in this place. Now you shall see the fruits of your labor. Why? What's gonna happen? It's simpler to show you than to explain it. Empty your mind of all your concerns and watch what unfolds before you. Oh, fortuitous day, the years I have waited. Accept these sacraments, Lord, as keystones to your might. We gather here that you may gaze upon our insignificance and take pity upon thy servants. We beseech thee, reach out to this plane, thy plane, and once again restore thy order, thy justice and thy might. Zana Ra. Are you sure this is the wise thing to be doing? Be not afraid, Hardcore Ultimate Ironman Artic. The true Lord will favor you well, I am certain. In this thy temple we submit these tithes of power. Accept these humble offerings and commune with us once more. Azanadra. Magic. Wah. And then portal. Magic. Azanadra, have I found my faithful? My Lord Zaros, the link is finally restored. I did not doubt your dedication. What of your brothers? Scattered, Lord, across the lands, while Zamorak maintains a stranglehold on the turncoats. Azanadra, your good work here will have attracted attention. You are right, Lord. It won't be long before the whole world knows the link has been restored. We must move swiftly. Come closer, that I may give you instructions which others must not know of. Secrets! Woo! And then, over in the abyss, the portal seems a little unsettled today. Whoa, what? The portal? That was a close one. Nearly lost the universe there. That is how this works. He has to keep that under control. Ah, brother, is it not a fine day to scheme against our enemies? Is it? I've been kept up half the night by those idiot goblins. Must they make so much noise that they squabble? They make terrible neighbors. Zarag would delight in your anger, brother. Rumble, 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 earthquake. Brother, the very earth shakes. Cracking the statue of Zamorak. What has befallen us? The statue of Zamorak. It's ruined. This is clearly the work of the Ceredominists. Well, we shall have our revenge, brother. Come, we have plans to make. It's probably fine. Everything's probably fine. Hey. Oh, fortuitous day. To with my true lord, once more, my boundless appreciation is yours. I'm glad I could help. It is time to give your rewards befitting such a noble and honorable service. Quest complete. 2 quest points, 2 20,000 XP combat lamps, a 23,000 XP lamp, 10,000 prayer XP, access to ancient curses, and access to the Santistan altar. As an adjunct hands you an ancient hymnal, as well as your reward lamps. Okay. Destroy this other book that's not real. With ancient hymnal. Curses. Unlock ancient curses by reading the hymnal. What's going to use the lamps and stuff? Requires level 50. What we got? Attack, strength, defense, constitution, ranged magic, summoning. I mean, of those options, I guess summoning. It's the most awkward. No prayer option? Yeah, summoning. That is level 80 summoning. Look at that. And combat 127. For whatever that's worth. And that is hydras, raccoons, later sneaker peepers, and holy scarabs. Hydra is actually used for something. We could go get a whole bunch of pets, whether or not those actually go in the house currently. Anyways, 80 summoning. Another combat lamp here. Attack, strength, defense, constitution, ranged magic, summoning. Take summoning. Another 20,000. That's something. Experience lamp in anything. That's going to go in Herb lore for 23,000. Amazing. And then the ancient hymnal. Gathered here are the chants and curses of the Majrat ancestors. Within these pages, they lie translated to the human tongue in the knowledge that soon Zeros will rule over all races, no matter how weak they may be. It is right, then, that all should use the words herein to give praise to Zeros in worship and in battle. To this end, Zeros has attuned his temple at Santistan, so that by praying at his altar, in that wondrous place, these curses will fill the minds of his followers, and his power be bestowed unto them. And this altar here. Pray at the altar of Zeros. Yes, replace my prayers with curses. Altar fills your head with dark thoughts, purging the prayers from your memory, and leaving only curses in their place. Now, we have curses. Ish. Continue reading the book for information. Oh, what wondrous god and sacred place is this altar that nourishes the spirit far beyond the altars of the many false gods. Bonus prayer. And finally, a warning. The weak-willed half-wit humans are known for their treachery. Zeus grants you the freedom to use the altars of others to replenish yourself. But should you turn your back on these glorious curses that Zeros has gifted you, you must return to Santistan and prostrate yourself before Zeros' majesty before he will allow you to use the curses once more. So we can go to a different spot to recharge our prayer. We also have the option to turn prayers back on instead of curses. Then we have to come back here to get curses again. Anyways, the ancient curses. Starting with the sap spells. Essentially, these drain your enemy's stats and increase the amount they drain over time. And the exact percentages have changed, but the general idea is here. And also, it is sap, adrenaline, used to be sap spirit, which actually meant sap special attack. And also, the sap ones were just collected into the same. There was not sap attack and sap strength, and all those. There was sap warrior, which is attack, strength, defense. Sap ranger, which is ranged and defense. Sap mage was mage and defense. There was only sap range, attack and strength. Sap mage, attack and strength. So the saps have been separated. I take away your might. It makes you lucky in fighting. Ranged power. Makes you strong with ranged power. Gives you magic art. Sap, 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 sap. Just lowers your opponent's stuff. There's also Berserker, which boosts stats, remain boosted 15% longer. That's something. I hear there's also Protect item, which is just a higher level. Not useful for us as we don't plan to die, obviously. That's okay. Then we get to the deflect curses. I reflect attacks from beasts that were brought back to life, summoning. Deflect attacks from mages, from missiles, from melee. Essentially protection prayers. Reduces the damage. Used to be by 100%, but now by 50%. But also deflects some of the damage back, which is pretty cool. So, in essence, more damage. And also a lot of the prayers, of the curses, cost more prayer points to use, essentially. So, there's also that. And then we get into the leech curses. Steals stats from your opponents, increasing over time. So it lowers theirs while boosting yours. So, especially in instances like leech defense, you get higher defense, they get lower defense, so you can hit more accurately, and they can't hit as accurately. Makes more of a difference when you're actually fighting something with the same style, I suppose. Because if your opponent doesn't really have too much ranged attack, it's not going to drop their ability to do anything by very much. But still raises yours. So those are the leeches. Fill them with the magic skills of my enemy, the range skills of my enemy, attacks of my enemy. And these ones actually did come in all the versions. Attack, strength, range attack, range strength, mage attack, mage strength. All that. So that's good stuff. We've also got Wrath. My death will spread like a plague. And that explodes when you die. That's fun. We also don't have the levels for the leech run energy or special attack, because those aren't necessary or useful. So we only got to 82, and that was perfectly fine. Wrath we're not going to use, that requires dying, obviously not great. Soul Split is the next big winner. I call to my heart the soul, and I call to my heart and soul the madness of heretics. What that actually means is damage you inflict on your target will regenerate your own life points. This is one of the biggest changes in percentages. Originally it was 20%, maybe 25% healing, but it's now 10% with diminishing returns when not in legacy mode. Of course, it would need another 10 prayer levels for that, but it's pretty good. And lastly, no anguish or torment, only turmoil. Turn the power of my enemy to my benefit. Turmoil increases melee attack, melee strength, and defense, while also draining the enemy's melee attack, melee strength, and defense, increasing everything over time. The whole increasing over time thing was kind of an idea to stop people just flicking prayers and everything, but not too important. It also resets the drain of the opponent when you switch, but you keep draining them more. It keeps your boost up higher. So that all works nicely. But yeah. That's Nadra. Wild stuff. You've turned to me, faithful one. Tell me about Zeros. What do you wish to know? So is Zeros back then? Not yet, no. I can merely communicate with him once more. But that is no small achievement, hardcore ultimate Ironman Artic. For now he can give me instructions, and I shall carry them out to aid in his return. Soon the world shall be bathed in the glory of Zeros once more. What plans does Zeros have? Regrettably, I'm under strict instructions to conceal Zeros' magnificent schemes. Can't you tell me anything? I can say that you should ensure no mishaps befall you. Zeros requires you very much in one piece. It is to this end that I have provided you with his hymnal, so you may defeat your foes with more ease. Zeros says he needed my help. Something like that. In any case, you are most definitely needed. Why did Zeros get banished? Why? Simply because of Zarak's lust for power. That feeble usurper got lucky that day. When Zeros and Zarak did battle, both were impaled on the accursed Staff of Armadil, and it really could have gone either way. But it was Zeros who was banished, while Zarak became stronger than ever. It would take a great deal of work to undo that unlucky roll of the dice. I didn't realize it was a matter of luck. No doubt you have heard a Zamarakian version of events. Well, now you've heard the Zerosian side of the story too. You can decide yourself which faction's more trustworthy. Is Zeros a cat? Oh dear. Have you had a nasty knock on the head? Perhaps you've listened to haven't listened to a word I've said. Well, there is this cat called Bob. He hinted that he might be Zeros. Of course, a cat told you he was Zeros. Cannot think of why you failed to mention this before. I didn't want you to think I was crazy. Well, it's a little late to worry about that now, isn't it, Mr. Cat Whisperer? If I may offer some words to the wise, young man, do not get your information from a talking cat. Good stuff. Talking about something else. Fun facts. This place, the hymnal. Some questions about the ancient hymnal. Or curses, how to use curses. Curses are prayers called curses. I use curses by praying at the altar. They're different from prayers because there's Zerosian, and they focus on leeching and stuff. Get back to standard prayers by going to a regular altar. Yeah. That's pretty much it. Wild stuff here. But anyways, that is the template sent us in. We also might want to go back onto regular prayers. Depends what we're doing. They do drain more, and the total boost, especially when you compare the leech attack and strength and defense to piety. Piety is just a bit better and more convenient. We only use piety sometimes, mostly on range. Depends what we're doing. We can always switch back if we want to, so that's fine. But yeah. Curses. Nifty. Also, this prayer boost could be helpful here. I like that. Anyways, we're going to take our curses and go curse the world. Running all over the place, doing a bunch of stuff. Getting in some fights. Next time. Goodbye.